Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this evening. Tarnation TV, the Flatout Racing Network, coming to you live from the Rolling Thunder Gaming. This is Thursday night, so that's the Tally Challenge. So, of course, we're at Talladega. This is race number 6. Thanks again to our sponsors. I always forget to say that, but our sponsor is anonymous, but whoever you are, huge thank you for sponsoring this entire season number 67. And without further ado, I am Blaine Donlin, joined by Kyle Matthews and Seth Cole from Flatout Racing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Blaine, I mean, we're getting down to crunch time now. We've got 5 races under our belts. 5 different drivers have gone to victory lane. Only a minimum of 12 drivers are going to get to race for the championship, but there's still a trio of races left to run here in the regular season. And Kyle, we ended up seeing during the course of the offseason, as soon as the green flag dropped, first race of the season, these drivers were chomping at the bit, ready to get at it. We've had an off week. Daytona duels ran last Thursday night, so everybody was tuned into that. A little bit of a period of rest and relaxation for these drivers, but we saw how amped up they were to take the first green flag of the season. Now, as we have entered into the second half of this regular season, the home stretch to the playoffs, do we amp it up even more with what we expect to see on track tonight?
Oh, definitely. I mean, different circumstances right now. You talk about how amped up they were at the very start of the season after not racing for a couple of weeks after the end of last season. Well, now they have even more stuff to race for. Like you mentioned, we're halfway through the season. Everybody trying to get geared up for the playoffs, trying to pick up a playoff spot, get a win. And, they had a week to think about this. So, I definitely think they're going to be amped up even more here tonight.
We have seen, as of late, the last 3 races have really put a lot of emphasis on execution on pit road. We've seen minimal cautions. We've seen long green flag runs. We'll have to see if that trend continues here with 3 races remaining. Mention about the fact that 5 drivers have previously gone to victory lane. They all know that they're going to battle for a championship, provided they stay in the top 20 in points. They include the points leader Grant Wesley, Brian Schilling, Josh Metallic. They're actually your top 3 in points. And then 7th and 8th in the standings, Tim Knopfsker and Richard Martin, who we saw pull off some fuel strategy exploits a couple of weeks ago. They are all locked in, but a lot of names up there inside of the top 12. On the flip side, a lot of names outside of the cut line. Bernie Mobbs, Joe DeSpirito, a former champion, John Godfrey, Kelly Causey, even Jeremy Jeffries, who won this thing a couple of seasons ago, down in 23rd in points. Is it too early to panic for these drivers, or is tonight the night where you got to start sending a trend in the positive direction?
I wouldn't say it's time to panic just yet, but they're definitely feeling a little bit of pressure, I would imagine. They're probably hoping to step it up tonight, but I don't think they're pushing the panic button quite yet. I think they still have a little bit of time before that ends up happening if they don't pick up a win.
Well, it will be another 66 laps here tonight for these Talladega Challenge Series drivers. It's also the 3rd round of the Bracket Challenge. We're going to be keeping tabs on that during the remainder of the season, right up to and potentially including the overall season finale. We're down, at least on the winner's side of the bracket, to our Elite 8. We'll be filling you in on who those drivers and what those respective matchups are during the course of this evening's festivities. But as well here tonight, we ended up couple of weeks ago seeing Richard Martin end the Chevrolet's stranglehold on victory lane, the first Dodge to go to victory lane. What do you think? Do we go maybe 6 for 6 here tonight with a different driver going to victory lane, or does someone double down as the first multi-time winner? Because we've had some candidates here last couple of times of drivers trying to find that second checkered flag.
I think the streak will continue. I mean, there's a good number of drivers who have been in a position to win and just haven't been able to close the deal. And plus, and there's a lot of there's a lot of big names who haven't won either. So they could always pull off a win at any time. So I mean, this has all the looks of another first time winner here tonight.
Well, a driver that has formerly gone to victory lane this season, he is going to be on the pole position tonight via the Lotto qualifying draw. It's going to be Josh Metallic, that Ryan Newman throwback. He's going to coming to this race. 34 points out of the points lead, third in overall standings. Alongside of him, another driver that's doing really well in points, that Dale Sr. throwback of Rodney Sullins, currently sits fifth in points, but he has a 0 in the win column. Would like to remedy that here tonight. Row 2 is going to find Tim Anderson, the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, alongside of the Notre Dame Ford Mustang of Greg Palmer. Row 3, Mike Mangialardi, and alongside of him, you'll see a new scheme in the field here tonight. General Lee on that 0-1 of Jeremy Jeffries. Dennis McCarthy, Joe DeSpirito, they'll be back in row 4, and your top 10 will be completed with Pat McCarsky and Donnie Garrett. Kelly Causey in the 00 will be making up the 6th row alongside of Glenn Harris. Brian Schilling and Cody Lamas, they'll be back in row 7. Michael Norman joins Tim Knopfsker, a former winner on the season, back in row 8. Row 9, Graham McDonald and the points leader, Grant Wesley. Your top 20 will be Billy Elliser and Mark Paglia. Milt Surratt and Bob Seminara, they're back in row 11. Row 12 is going to find Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
Nice to say that this week. Nice to have him back in the field. He's back in that 12th row with Cy Jones. Brian Lovell, John Godfrey, they're back row 13. Row 14, Terry Bombard, and last timeouts winner 2 weeks ago, Richard Martin. Your top 30 completed with Bernie Mobbs and the defending champion of the series, Chuck McClure. Ulysses Sandoval is back in row 16 alongside of Keith Bynum. Denny Carroll deep in the field in row 17 with Javier Negron. Row 18, Robert Spring alongside of Bobby Farrell. Row 19 will be Greg Lovell and Doug Hewlick, and rounding out your 40-car field here tonight, another full field this evening will be Robert Breedlove and Brian Rawson. Of course, we talk all the time that it may not seem like much, this random qualifying draw, but of course, where it places you on the grid also determines where your pit stall is up and down pit lane. And we've seen the position of pit road, especially with these long green flag runs in the last couple of weeks and execution having to be a main focal point on pit road. It can, in several ways, determine the outcome of whether you're going to be in the conversation to win this race or trying to hang on to the draft and try and keep yourself in the conversation in the closing stages.
Yeah, pit road has played a big part in just about every race we've had so far this season. So yeah, that qualifying draw does a lot more than just determine the starting lineup.
Well, 5 drivers know they're locked in to the playoffs via their victories. A 6th driver would like to add their name to that list. Green flag is in the air. We're racing here tonight at Talladega. A couple of Chevrolets gonna lead them into turn 1. See just how anxious these drivers will get to maybe start forming that third line after the week off this past Thursday night. Got one driver going towards the back. Looks like that's Denny Carroll, the Tony Stewart Home Depot throwback. Further back in the field, though, I am seeing a third line starting to form. We'll see if more and more drivers mid-pack to the front of the field notice that and jump up there as well.
It usually doesn't take them long to do that, so... See 2 cars already trying to form. Okay, we got 3 cars up there now. I know one of them was the 17 to Chuck McClure. I couldn't tell who the other 2 were, though. And Josh Vitalik will lead the first lap.
It looks like Bynum and Godfrey, I believe. Oh, and Seminara just stepped out there, too. 2 laps in, why not? We're warmed up. Let's go 3 wide, boys.
Had a week off. Let's get some racing.
Yeah. What are we waiting for?
Knopfsker's going to jump up there as well. Well, briefly. Now moves his way down into the middle line. Got some new paint schemes in the field here this evening. We already mentioned about Jeremy Jeffries and that General Lee throwback, that bright orange Amp Energy 080 of Tim Knopfsker making its debut here tonight.
It's a good-looking car there.
Of course, out of the Rodney Sullins Paints Garage.
Does a great job on all the cars that he paints. I've yet to see a bad-looking car from him.
I'm sure he's hiding all the bad ones. I'm sure he's got a hard drive full of a bunch of
You
failures.
think he has his own file of scrap schemes? Like, this one's not good enough.
I'm pretty sure he does. I've talked to him about that stuff. I'm like, do you ever have, like, We've all done it. You start painting a car and you just get fed up with it and you just basically delete it or never touch it again. So he's probably got some that never got finished. That would still trump anybody's best car. Like my best car would probably, his worst car would be better than my best car, like one of those type of things. But, he thinks it's garbage, but it's absolutely phenomenal. But
Never attempted to paint for this game. I have for back in the new Technics was making the console games here about 10 years ago or so. I messed around with that. Had some decent ones, but none that looked amazing. But never really had that creative side that it's really needed to come up with a good paint scheme. But yeah, there's Bob Seminara leading that outside line.
Wow, look at the run they get there through the center of 3 and 4. Pulled right up alongside of Mike Mangialardi, now to the right rear quarter panel of Cody Lamas. Actually, both the third lane and the inside line got a surge at the same time, it seemed.
I think Michael Norman had thoughts of getting in front of Seminara to try to lead that line, but looks like he's going to be committed to the middle right now. He's got Cody Lamas right behind him, and just unusual to see because we usually see Cody kind of drop out of the server to purposely start in the back, but doing a different strategy tonight. And now Michael does get in front of Seminara.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had to do a little bit of a double take when I read off the grid and saw Cody Lamas starting up inside of the top 15. I thought, wait, is this the same Cody Lamas that we see hang out at the back? But, of course, as well, Cody trying to get himself into the top 30 in the point standings. This is the 6th race of the season, and this is the 6th straight race that they have drawn a full 40-car field. Had to send a couple of drivers home, so getting into that top 30 in points is a huge luxury for drivers to know that they're at least going to race that night.
Yeah, with the full house, how many drivers were turned away this evening?
I believe 2 drivers failed to make the show, Ken Roberts and Doug Maluski.
Right now, We got the General Lee looking to take the lead right here. Jeremy Jeffries. Love that paint scheme on his car here tonight.
Mention about the fact, Jeremy, a couple of seasons ago, he won the whole thing, took home the championship. Last season, we saw him have an early exit from the playoffs, and this season, he's mired 23rd in points. I almost wonder if he's got this General Lee paint scheme to change things up here. Maybe thinking that this paint scheme might end up giving him that aggressive attitude that he needs to work his way back up, if not to victory lane, into the top 12 in points.
And that's running well early on here. He's currently the leader. He's got Joe DeSpirito right behind him in 2nd spot. Donnie Garrett's in 3rd.
This might be the first time I've ever seen Jeremy in a Dodge.
Oh, that is a Charger. I thought that was, at first glance, I thought that was a...
No, that's what I thought. I looked at the grill and I'm like, that's not a Camaro. What is that? So I zoomed in on it, and it's a Dodge Charger RT.
I have to say that, yeah, the original General Lee, that was a 1969 Dodge Charger, so it was only fitting. When I first looked at it, I thought it was a Chevrolet for some reason, but no, it's a Dodge.
And right now it is out in front. Leading this race, Joe DeSpirito right behind him, another driver, multi-time former champion that currently is not sitting in a playoff spot, 16th in the standings coming into tonight, though he's only 11 points out of that 12th position in the standings. It's really close around that bubble of 12th in the standings, so there's a handful of drivers we got to keep an eye on here tonight, some above, some on and just below the cut line. Sandoval, Carroll, Paglia, Breedlove, Mobbs, Hewlick, DeSpirito, as we mentioned.
That's why I think we're going to continue the trend of there being a different winner this week. I mean, just look at the names that haven't won and have been running well. I mean, they've been in position to win races, just, circumstances didn't work out for them.
Ken Roberts in the Tarnation chat on YouTube wants to know if Bo or Luke is driving that 01.
I was wondering that myself.
I want him to honk the horn, let's just be honest.
I mean, I'm more of a Daisy Duke fan myself. But,
Which was the character that Burt Reynolds played?
Is it
Smokey and the Bandit?
Stroker Ace, or was it?
I think it was Stroker Ace, yeah. Ronnie Garrett now goes to the lead on that inside line. Got a third lane forming with Knopfsker, McClure, Schilling all up there. Mark Paglia as well. Going to be 3 wide for second position when they cross the line. Garrett clear of all 3 lanes at least momentarily.
Was his character? I never used to watch the show. Is his character's name actually Smoker Ace? Because that's hilarious.
I know Stroker Ace was a movie.
Yeah, because if it actually was Stroker Ace, that's so funny. Like, how do you get away with wordplay like that? It's like
Not
one of those
sure.
things like the Sofa King, you know, like you can get away with swearing on the radio without actually doing it.
Easier times back then.
Yeah. Stroker Ace. And here, yeah, like the Sofa King. Sofa King. Our prices aren't just great, they're Sofa King great. Was an actual commercial.
Really?
Yep.
I'm shocked.
The Sofa King.
I'm shocked the FCC wasn't all over that.
Right.
I think the FCC figured it out eventually, but like you don't really notice. But then sometimes you hear it.
They snuck it
And
in.
I'm like, oh, yeah, you're the king of sofas. Yeah, but their advertising was brilliant because sometimes it's just like, wow. Kind of similar to the sponsors that Greg Palmer will run on his car.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's all just the words. You're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, say it quick. So
Great racing
the
up
sofa
here.
one was so good, I almost thought like it was a joke.
Yeah, right.
Like it might have been a joke, it might have just been a really good joke, and I thought it was real, but
I think they knew what they were doing.
I think they knew exactly what they were doing.
They wanted you to think it was a joke, but they knew. They knew.
Yeah. It's like, no, that can't be real. And you look it up and it actually was. Oof.
Mentioned that brand new bright orange paint scheme of Tim Knopfsker.
I was just going to say that. You talked about it, and now look where it is.
It's fast. Made its way on that third line, now to the front with the assistance of the defending champion Chuck McClure.
Chuck McClure started way back there, too. And then,
Started 30th.
he was one of those drivers I noticed that went to the far outside at the very start of the race. And didn't take long for him to work his way up into the top 5.
Was it last like race 5? I think we had Knopfsker, Wesley, and Lovell like all together, and like
Yep.
it was like the 880, the 088, and the 88.
That
You guys need
happens
to
all the
calm
time.
down.
We called a iRacing event for RTG this past Tuesday night. And Ron Hagelin, Jeremy Jeffries, Jeff Supta all together. So you had 6 ones combined between 3 cars all battling for a position.
Wow.
Well, with Knopfsker out in front here, mentioned about the fact that we are into our Elite 8, if you will, in the bracket challenge. 4 matchups here tonight on the winner's side. Knopfsker is one of those drivers involved. As tonight he's facing off against the 712 of Bob Seminara. Grant Wesley, the points leader, the number 1 seed of the bracket challenge coming into when the different seedings were determined. He's taking on Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
Brian Schilling, who is right now behind Chuck McClure. Well, guess what? They're facing each other. Best position moves on. Second and third right now. And then Terry Bombard taking on Greg Lovell here this evening. Winners of those respective matchups will move on to the final 4. And of course, as well, whoever ends up winning the winner's side of the bracket, they'll be waiting in the wings for all those that still have a second chance that were eliminated last week, moved down to the loser's side of the bracket. They've still got a mulligan here, an opportunity to still be in the hunt for the Bracket Challenge Championship at season's end.
Saw Jeremy Jeffries have a look to the inside for the lead. Tim Knopfsker and Chuck McClure saw that jump down in front of him. That left Brian Schilling and Mark Pagula hanging on the outside there. Now Joe DeSpirito jumps up in front of Schilling to lead that outside line.
We're seeing more and more drivers start to try and find spaces on that inside line. I saw Seminara back around mid-pack, was able to tuck down behind Greg Palmer. About to be 15 laps in, so we're within that 5-lap window of when these drivers are going to have to start thinking about pit road.
I just saw a big bolt of lightning outside my window where I'm at right now. We're under a tornado watch, so I hopefully nothing happens here and I don't get kicked out of the broadcast.
Wow. Whereabouts are you located?
Just north of Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, because it's like we're like all frozen solid with winter up here.
That's how it was about 2 weeks ago, but it warmed up nicely.
Yeah, I was going
New
to say
York as
tornadoes aren't really a winter thing, I didn't think.
They're not supposed to be, but you never know what you're going to get in this state.
Yeah. It's funny to watch, not funny, but it's interesting to watch different super speedway styles. Like if you've got 20, 25 cars, you know, they tend to be a lot closer to each other. But I see when there's 40 plus out here tonight, like we've got 40 that started the race, you know, that amplification of the bump draft, you know, like flies through the field. And when there's more cars, it tends to get more chaotic. But these guys know to keep a bit more of space, you know, like they give a little bit more of a gap. That way, if they're not causing that, it's like that stack up.
And to your point, too, depends on the size of the field as to what kind of energy there is. Like,
right.
As you say, with the chain bumping that we see drivers do, it's a lot easier to do that when you're in a pack of 10 to 12 cars as opposed to tripling the size of the field as we have here. I noticed when I was out turning some laps with these guys, it takes a little bit longer to be able to generate a run on the straightaways, which means that third, fourth, fifth car in line, by the time we get to the entrance of, say, right here in turn 3, you're right up in the gearbox of the driver in front of you and almost pushing them into the back bumper of the driver in front of them. So that's why we end up seeing the spacing as, how about this? Coming in just a little bit earlier than others, but then again, remember, Nofsker led a good portion of this race, so did Jeremy Jeffries.
There was a few cars that went in on lap prior as well. I believe Breedlove was in there, Mangialardi, Carroll and Waugh, they all went last time around.
Jeffries, Norman, Seminara, 33 of Anderson are all in.
Bernie Mobbs, Chuck McClure, Robert Spring, all in as well. I turned the lead over to Brian Schilling. That first group all made it onto pit road safely. Hopefully got it woed down to the 55 miles per hour. Now we'll see who throws out the hands here this time by.
And there's Denny Carroll and Randy Waugh, who just mentioned, came down pit road the lap prior.
Here they come.
Now Schilling bringing them all in here.
Somebody's
around.
There's a couple of tussles.
Terry Bombard.
Billy Elliser, Pat McCarthy.
Cody Lamas.
Looks like Cody got his straightened out pretty quickly. Glenn Harris. Like most of them
needs
were
to be careful. Needs to be careful here when backing up.
Yep.
Pat McCarthy trying to get it straightened out there.
Fortunately for him, I think most everybody else was on pit road that lap, so there wouldn't be any oncoming traffic onto pit lane anytime soon. But with no caution, he's certainly going to lose a ton of time, definitely going to lose the draft, and may not have a dancing partner when he comes off of pit road. Oh, we had one spinning down to the inside
I believe
wall.
that was the...
Yes. Facing the wrong way there as he's going to try and get that thing turned back around. That first gear can be really squirrely on those rear tires when you're coming off the pit lane exit.
Yeah, those things
pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, those tires are really cold and off the pit road. You have absolutely no grip. You got to be really careful. Or else the car will just go around on you just like that.
But Joe DeSpirito may end up inheriting the lead once all is said and done. Oh, maybe not. There's a trio in front of them with Nofsker, McClure, and Jeffries. Actually, I think Nofsker is actually going to re-inherit the race lead here, but now begins the process. The different packs of cars that you have all going to try and stay nose to tail, keep the draft as tight as they can, try and get a whiff off that trailing car of each respective pack, and try and form this group all back up again.
That's good separation, but yeah, like you said, eventually it all comes back together.
Comes to Spirito's going to get by Jeffries. That's help from Grant Wesley right there. Whoa, McClure.
McClure.
Oh, nice save right there.
Wow.
That could have been big.
That was a gutsy block there. Despirito, Wesley, they were coming with a full head of steam. Despirito got into him in the center of the corner. McClure down in the apron, and how we avoided that being a wreck, I'm not sure.
Oh, Seminara.
Just top to bottom right there.
Wow. Uh-oh, he's going to have to find somewhere else to go now. We got Elliser, I think, on the bottom line there.
Yikes.
Made it work.
See Michael Norman in this group right there. He had a good pit stop. I think he was running outside the top 10 before the pit stops began.
And you mentioned about Chuck McClure working his way up through the field after starting this race from outside of the top 25, 30th position. There's a driver that's trailing this pack right now. That's 6 of Brian Rawson. He started this race dead last. And last time by, he was scored, I believe, around the 14th, 15th position. So a couple of drivers really executing on pit lane, including Grant Wesley. I think prior to the pit stops, I was going to mention, didn't really see Grant working his way up to the front of the field. He was mired back around 13th place, and there he is now fighting for a spot in the top 5.
Like talking about hot pitting right there. Well, Grant Wesley's one of the best when it comes to that. You can gain a lot of track position that way if you do it correctly.
Milt Surratt has retired for wheel issues. Bent a rim somewhere.
We saw him have that spin off of pit road. Got to wonder if that played a part into the early retirement for the Tide ride. We're going to have 25 drivers in this lead group now when they come around here. Back to Javier Negron in the 40. Heath Bynum was trying to stay latched on with that pack of about 6 or 7 that Javier was a part of, was unable to do so. So we're looking roughly at about a dozen drivers right now that would love to see a caution to save their race.
Here, the last few weeks, most of the incidents that we've seen were coming to pit road. And haven't brought out the caution. We saw that already here in that first round of pit stops.
Just saw Pat McCarskey go a lap down. Billy Elliser also got put a lap down under green flag conditions. Right now, they are the first 2 drivers, the only 2 drivers, -1. They would get the free passes if we were to get a yellow and no other drivers falling off the lead lap. Next drivers that the leaders would catch up to include Robert Breedlove, Glenn Harris, Cy Jones, and Cody Lamas, although those drivers are about half a racetrack ahead of the leaders. So they have a little window of time here still for a caution to be able to save them before they're going to have to start worrying about battling for the lucky dog spots as well.
Outside line seems to be where you want to be right now. Tim Nosford is going backwards on that inside line with Brian Schilling and Mark Pagula and Chuck McClure and others on that bottom. But it's the outside that's moving right now.
Schilling second in the points, a former winner on the season, trying to run down Grant Wesley for that overall points lead. Regular season championship does pay out bonus points when the playoff standings are reformatted. DC drivers not only try to find victory lane, but try and remain consistent throughout the regular season so they can be in the hunt for that regular season championship. Speaking of Brian Schilling, I remember this. There was I don't remember how many seasons ago it was, maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago, Brian Schilling ended up pulling off an incredible feat where he finished inside of the top 10 in all of the regular season races. Right now, Grant Wesley is trying to make a similar run. So far, 5 races in the books. He's the only driver to finish in the top 10 in all of them. And right now, he's in the top 10 in this race.
Man, that is so difficult to do. I mean, that is an incredible feat that Schilling was able to pull off, and what Wesley's looking at doing right now, it's to show that kind of consistency in a super speedway series is just, it takes not only talent, but a lot of luck as well. Especially in a series as competitive as this one is.
I was going to say, this series is so competitive. You got Ken Roberts that didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Today. Like, that's wild. That dude wins races
had
here.
Multiple victories here on Thursday nights, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The drivers that started this race alongside each other on the front row, working together on that inside line. Rodney Sullins moving down in front of pole sitter Josh Metallic. Able to get by Michael Norman, now working on Bob Seminara. They are making up some ground there on that inside line, and now more drivers are noticing that. Here comes Tim Anderson down to the bottom, so the similarly sponsored Bass Pro Shops machines are going to work together. And now Wesley going to make the move on to Spirito.
The Spiritos now has Bob Seminara right behind him. Those two like working together quite well, so it's got to be a welcome sight for the Spirito to see in his rearview mirror. Michael Norman right there behind him too. I'm impressed with Michael so far tonight.
Impressive.
Michael felt that he let one get away from him last time out. Saw Richard Martin pull off the fuel strategy. Michael thought about staying out the extra lap, but then second-guessed himself, came to pit road, caution came out, and D-Mart was in the right position. So Michael trying to maybe get a little redemption from a couple of weeks ago, is a little swip swapping here inside of the top 5. 33 goes from top to bottom. 38 goes from bottom to top. Wesley will now move up there. Jeremy Jeffries follows him up. Those two were engulfed in a great battle this past Monday night in the Bare Bones Racing Series at the 1997 version of Atlanta. Josh Metallic was also in that conversation, went on to pick up the victory, but some really competitive racing at the front of the field all night long between those three drivers. And now, working together here tonight at Talladega.
Is it Atlanta that went some crazy new repaving and banking changes and stuff last couple of years?
Yeah,
yes,
it ended
it was.
up basically getting turned into a super speedway. They added, I think it was another 4 degrees of banking in the corners. Now, fortunately, the track surface is kind of wearing out, so the super speedway aspect of it is starting to go away. The cars are a little bit more slip-slidey, but man, the character that the old Atlanta used to have with that worn track surface, I miss that.
That was a favorite amongst drivers and fans. I mean,
yeah.
All they needed to do was just repave it. They didn't need to reconfigure it. It's always a popular stop on this.
The iRacing event that we covered this past Tuesday night for RTG. They ran the 2008 Legacy version of Atlanta. You could Harvick the bottom. You could Larson the top. You could make passes wherever you wanted to. The racing was incredible. But unfortunately, we don't have that track anymore.
Yeah, it's so strange why they decide to make changes like that.
It's not even called Atlanta Motor Speedway anymore. It's what,
Nope.
Echo Park Raceway
Echo Park.
or something? That is...
Oh.
I will never get used to that name.
I will never get used to it, and I will never call it that.
There you go.
I don't think anything. And then North Wilkesboro back in the mix too, which is cool. So it's the other hand, right? They're bringing
That I
back those
love.
classic old tracks like that, and it's like, oh, neat. They repaved it all and freshened it up again, and so they might have messed up Atlanta, but at least they brought back Wilkesboro.
Brought
Now
back
Wilkesboro
Rockingham as well.
will have a points-paying race. This year, first time in 30 years.
I was going to ask, how are they using it? I know it's back, but it's not in the Cup Series.
It is in the Cup Series. They were running the All-Star race there the last 2 or 3 years, and now they've gave it actually a points race on the schedule for the Cup Series. So
Awesome.
that'll coming up in mid to late July
I
sometime.
think so, yeah, somewhere in the summer.
Cool. There's been some great versions of Wilkesboro in this too recently. Mod teams have been putting that track together and bringing it to us here in NASCAR Racing 2003 season, and I love it.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe within the last couple of weeks, I believe there was a 2026 version of North Wilkesboro that was released for NR.
Yeah, it's on Dr. Noise's website. I think that's where I saw it like a couple weeks ago. It popped up on there, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, no, that's another one. Because I think Project Short Track did one a few years ago. And now it popped up on just recently, like you said, a 2026 version of it too. So super cool. And somebody rebuilt Bristol from scratch, the original one. They didn't even
I've
use
not
the
seen
game.
that.
Yeah, they didn't even use it as the game track as a base. They started from scratch.
Oh, wow.
And it's meticulously rebuilt.
I'm going to have to look that up.
I'll send you a video. It's awesome. I watched a video of it on YouTube of what this guy did, and it's fantastic.
We just passed the halfway point right there. All clean and green so far. I hope I'm not jinxing anything by saying that, but everybody, they've done a great job and put on a good show so far tonight. Rodney Sollins, the leader the last time by, but him and Grant Wesley have been neck and neck for the last, I don't know how many laps.
I remember Rodney Sullins, he's no stranger to some late season theatrics. One season ago, he ended up winning the regular season finale to secure himself a spot in the playoffs, and then what'd he do? The following week, went out and locked himself into the round of 8, winning the first playoff race. Had a much more consistent season here in the regular season of season 67. Currently sitting 5th in the point standings. That's one of the things about Super Speedway Series is the statistics are so deceiving because you look at a driver like Rodney Sullins, 5 races in, only 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and you think, well, this is a horrible season, right? He's probably running top 15, top 20 in points. Nope, he's up in the top 5. That's because it's so difficult. That's why we talk about the incredible feat that Brian Schilling had a couple of seasons ago. Grant Wesley has this season of being able to remain consistent. It's not easy to do in Super Speedway Series racing.
No. Especially in a series where you're getting, 40 drivers showing up every single week, and if not more, to make the field.
And 40 drivers who on any given night can win.
Uh-huh.
I think the most overused sentence that we end up getting here in the booth when we interview drivers is them saying, this is such a competitive series. You win a race here, you feel like you've won the lottery because wins are so difficult to come by in this series.
Seasons aren't very long either, right? So if you want to do it, you got to figure out how to do it. And you're not even, okay, there's 40 guys in the race, but you end up with like 60 or 70 drivers over the course of a season because guys are coming and going. Guys don't make the cut weekend, and maybe they make the cut the next week, whatever. So there's the driver count too, that a lot of people show up for these races.
I mean, normally we end up having 9 regular season races, but because we were off this past Thursday night, there's only going to be 8. And I think we had some radios lighting up. I think we got some drivers pitting here.
I was just about ready to say we can't be far from the second round of stops. Jeffrey's locking them up a little bit, Garrett locking them up a bit, but they get down there with no problems.
Second
Most of the drivers we saw in that first pack on the first cycle of pit stops.
Second pack was coming around there too. Only one driver decided to go in.
It's like Bernie Mobbs, Denny Carroll, Randy Waugh, they all came in the previous lap.
Yeah, they were the first ones on pit road during that first round of green flag stops. Pitted a lap before everybody else.
See if Grant Wesley, the new race leader, if he's going to come down pit road this time. We had a huge pack of drivers for our second pack the first cycle. And we're going to have another major pack here. Ooh, Brian Rawson had to avoid Josh Metallic. He's going to miss pit road.
Oh,
Greg
boy.
Palmer had to use, I think that was Dennis McCarthy, to straighten his car out.
They figured it out, though.
They did.
Unfortunately for Rawson.
The 6 car, yeah, he really got the short end of the stick on that entry. And
got about another half dozen drivers from further back coming in, but certainly hope that Brian Rawson has enough fuel to make it back around for one more circuit. Seen drivers miss pit road before and then run out of fuel. Trying to get a little whiff of draft off of Mike Mangialardi down the back straightaway here. As here comes the remainder of our leaders.
Oh, Ulysses. Okay.
Oof.
That was a close one on his part there.
Like a few of the Team Wrecking Ball drivers there. Sandoval, Negron, Graham McDonald, along with the lap car of Billy Elliser. And
Rawson
will
in.
make it.
Yep. And he's the second pit stall in from the back. The server gets the first one. Brian gets the second one.
Talked about the fact that with this new version of Talladega that debuted last season, it's a much wider pit road. Rawson ended up getting pushed off of making it onto pit lane. I think they were about 4 wide coming to the commitment line there. So widening up that pit road gave them more options, more lanes to try and get in there, and they just tried 1 lane too many.
Well, and in Rawson's case, what you're talking about there, he was on the far right. He would have never made it to his pit stall because if he's second one in, he has to be on the wall, and he has to be slowing down a lot earlier. Oh, man, I hate how they can merge in the corner there. The drivers are allowed to merge there. They don't have to wait to the back straightaway here, and sometimes that gets real tight.
Every time I see that, I'm having flashbacks to Kevin LePage in
No.
2008. We just...
What month?
Spring, April maybe? I don't know.
See, I'm going to quiz you on that stuff all the time because your mind is amazing when it comes to that stuff.
Question is, which one goes airborne? Which one role plays as Carl Edwards?
Yeah. I think I was watching that race. That was Talladega, right?
Yes,
Where he
it
got
was.
up in the fence? Yeah. That was crazy.
You see a couple of drivers there. Cody Lamasai Jones. Leaders finally reeled them in as the field spread out even more with this pit stop cycle, so they're going to follow a lap down. And bad news for Terry Bombard in the 10. Looks like our first speeding penalty getting handed out here. Terry's going to have to come down pit road at 55 miles per hour. That feels like crawling when you're at a track as fast as Talladega. He will more than likely lose a lap as a result here, and add him to the list of drivers that are going to be hoping that a caution comes out to save him. I mean, these laps, they are ticking away. We are almost 2/3 of the way through this race now. Still got 1 more pit stop before the conclusion, and that window of opportunity for drivers that have had some struggles in the first 40 laps, it's closing. The number of laps that we'd have left, even if they get back on the lead lap with a free pass, it's not going to be all that much to be able to mount a comeback of where their current running position is. Leaders approaching the 43 of Richard Martin. He's got to love the fact that he had that victory a couple of weeks ago, knowing that he just has to stay in the top 20 in points, and he'll be running for a championship. Last driver historically that has won a title here on Thursday nights without winning a race during the championship season.
That's just as impressive as finishing in the top 10 in every race right there. I mean, man, the kind of consistency you need to be able to pull off that feat.
Won that race, or won that season, I should say, that championship by 1 point as well in the finale.
Oh, man.
1 point. See, that's crazy. We always talk about how the guys will stay out and lead that lap, get that point. And there it is.
May not seem like much beginning, middle of the season, but boy, does it matter.
When it literally comes down to that, you go back and look at all your races and go, yep, well, I decided to stay out and lead that lap. If you didn't do it, you wouldn't be in the winner's circle.
So far, we have now run 2/3 of this race without a caution coming out. You'd think that we would end up having a dominant lap leader so far in this race. That's not the case. Grant Wesley just crossed the line to lead his 8th lap of the race. That ties him with Joe DeSpirito. You have 5 laps led so far for Josh Metallic, 6 laps led for Rodney Sullins, and then you have a couple of drivers with 2 laps led and 1 lap led. I mean, it's really been seemingly difficult for a driver to get to the front, stay at the front here in this one. Our last couple of races, we've had clear, definitive lap leaders. I mean, Grant Wesley coming into tonight, he's led 80 of the laps turned so far this season. That is nearly a quarter of the laps so far run here in season 67.
3 more cars going a lap down. You mentioned Terry Bombard, who had that speeding penalty. The 2 other ones right there, the 931 of Robert Breedlove and the 21 of Randy Luigi. Didn't hear anything happen to those 2.
I believe the 931 and the 21, they were a part of the group that came down earlier than others on both cycles and just never were able to merge back with the lead pack. Oh, someone just blew up! Spirito just blew up from second
Kelly
place!
Causey was right behind him. He could send to him.
Yeah.
They're spinning down into the grass. This is not going to bring out a caution.
No. We'll load that up. I was focused on Causey, and I just saw the black cloud. I'm like, uh-oh.
Those 2 drivers were second and third when they crossed the line the previous time by.
You mentioned Espirito was right here about a lap or so ago, was tied with Wesley for leading the most laps tonight, too. And it's another guy who's yet to win yet season. Joe Espirito looked like he was in a good position to possibly go for the win, but just one of those random one-line engine failures.
Espirito only has 1 top 10 so far this season. He's 16th in points, and this is not going to help him in his quest to get up into the playoffs. These next 2 weeks are going to be crucial for driver 24. I wasn't 100% certain who it was that was blowing up at that point. I thought it could possibly have been our race leader, Wesley. I mean, they were so close together, nose to tail, until the 24 darted out of line. I wasn't certain whose engine was expiring.
Causey back on track. I'm surprised that didn't take out more cars. That's a crazy spot for that to happen.
I wonder what happened to Causey right there, because it looked like Espirito pulled out a line there, and have Causey right behind him at that point, and then
it might have bumper grabbed there. There just wasn't an awful lot of reaction time for Kelly Causey.
I'll check it out from helicopter cam and replay here and see what happens. It might have been a stack up. He might have just got turned.
Yeah, got a bump from behind by Rodney Sullins. I mean, that's 2 drivers that could not afford that, as Causey's about to go a lap down here. Espirito, as we mentioned, outside the top 12 in points. Kelly Causey came into this race 19th in points. 2 drivers that were looking like they were, if not in position to win this race, at least to net a solid top 5, top 10 run. All of a sudden, in the span of a lap, landscape completely changes for 2 drivers that we've seen on the regular make their way into the postseason.
There was a slight bump there from the 38, and then the synchronized spinning of the 24 and the 00.
And again, too, we've talked about this. You know, the last couple of weeks, we've had very few cautions. That doesn't mean that we have been without incidents. There have been a lot of incidents on pit road, or in the case of what we just saw right there, where it's deemed off the racing surface and doesn't warrant a full course yellow. That's why we talk about all these drivers having difficulty with maintaining consistency, because there's a lot of things. If you just looked at a finishing results and see 1 caution, you think, oh, well, everybody was fine and nobody had any problems. Nope, that's not the case. These drivers have had to overcome adversity every single week.
Surprised the game didn't throw a caution because of the engine failure on the 24. I guess he wasn't on the track long enough for the game to pick it up or something. But
I was going to say the same thing. Like, sometimes I think the track officials maybe had a couple of pints, because you'd have a guy out there by himself running a lap down, engine will blow up, they'll pull the yellow. And in that situation, from row 2 with literally 37 cars behind him, nothing. It stays green, you know. But like you said, he was able to get it down below the yellow line, and I guess we stayed green.
Yeah, it really all depends while he was up on the racing surface if he had enough time to throw in the clutch. I know a lot of times if drivers do that, then the game doesn't necessarily read it as dropping debris. But I'm not sure how he would have had enough time to do that when he then had Kelly Causey spin down into his passenger side doors. So, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm really surprised that if nothing else, we didn't get a debris caution there, even though the spinning cars were down off the racing surface. Well, in this pack, we've got the race within the race. We got Grant Wesley leading a single file train, all probably making preparations for that upcoming final pit stop. But then we've also got drivers that still are hoping against all hope that we may end up getting a yellow flag here that are battling for the lucky dog position. Right now, Cody Lamas would be that first car one lap down. Robert Breedlove right behind him. Bernie Mobbs a couple cars back from them. Those are the drivers right now that are trying to remain in those first 2 lap down spots to be able to get the free pass should we see a yellow.
I wasn't paying attention to the Tarnation YouTube chat. Thanks, Nate, for the heads up. Some troll guy in there. Probably just a bot.
Well, Joe DeSpirito is indeed out of the race. He's going to get credit for 39th, one of 2 drivers that are not going to reach the conclusion so far. Milt Surratt, the other driver. 38 drivers still running, currently scoring 27 of them on the lead lap. And still one more pit stop to be made for these drivers as well. About 7-8 laps. It'll be the money stop. He was driven a smart race here tonight. Denny Carroll, saw him the ending stages of this race. I think the Lotto qualifying positioned him. He was up around the 32nd, 33rd position. And we saw him immediately off turn 2, go down below the yellow line, give up all the positions, just kind of ride around at the back. He's executed on pit road, and now he's up here just outside of the top 5 in P6. Saw him get his first victory of his career here on Thursday nights last season. Battled for that regular season championship, made the playoffs as well. He's 11th in points coming into tonight. 3 points to the good above that cut line, and may look to build a little bit more of a cushion, a little bit of a buffer here with 2 races left to go in the regular season.
I'm just currently focused on the second pack here, led by Keith Bynum. He's got about 6 cars with him. Yes, and, you know, they're about 16 seconds off the leader. They're not really gaining too much, but at least they're able to run top speed.
Oh, here we go. Bunch of drivers coming in. This is interesting. Coming in with around 13 laps to go. This is much sooner than expected. Window might be open to make. I think the window's open to make it the rest of the way. Maybe on a can of fuel. That might be what all these drivers are banking on with this early pitting.
Do you think the rest of these guys take that lead and go right now, or maybe run it dry?
I think you run it dry. I think if you haven't pit now, I think you're running it dry. Because if you do that, then you come to pit road, you're probably only going to have to take a half can of fuel while everybody else is taking either a can or a can and a half.
Oh, maybe not.
Here comes that second group. Michael Norman leading them down.
Who's that?
Billy Ellison.
Oh, it's Ellison. Wow. Javier Negron stayed off of him. What a great. Had to throw the anchor out, unfortunately.
Oh, we got a
caution.
Oh.
Oh, we got trouble off of turn
Dennis
2.
McCarthy
the 024 of Dennis McCarthy.
Oh, interesting. So some of these guys didn't pit yet. Like the Keith Bynum pack has not pit yet. The 63 leading about, that pack of 6 or 7.
McCarthy was leaving pit road with that first group, and
so this cluster of cars, I guess, will be in a waiver on position.
Like him and Donnie Garrett got into him a couple of times there.
He did. And I think, there's going to be a lot of drivers that are going to be able to take the waiver around. There's over a dozen drivers right now that this caution is going to drastically save their race. Maybe not necessarily for most of them the opportunity to win this race, but certainly to improve where they probably would have finished this race had we stayed green.
Oh, wow. McCarthy actually almost saved it, too. There was
That's
just
a little confusing. I'm trying to figure this one out because McCarthy tucks in line behind Nofsker, and then Garrett gets a big run-up on him. I thought maybe for a moment that the 024 had lost a gear, but it doesn't look like there's any indication of that. I don't know if maybe McCarthy just lifted a little too much to tuck in behind Nofsker, and Garrett had Paglia behind him for drafting help, but normally we see pretty good organization when they come off of pit road.
I'm confused about the second time they got together. You see, not sure what was going on there. I don't know if don't know if one was angry with the other one or not, but.
Oh, well, actually, I think what happened there, Kyle, just kind of looking back at it, as McCarthy came up the racetrack after the first bump, Garrett's lifting to let him back up. Paglia gets into the back of the 77, and that shoots him up in the left rear corner of the 024 for the second bit of contact.
Oh, yeah, just a chain reaction deal then, if that's...
Now, I believe that all drivers there, including Donnie Garrett and Dennis McCarthy, they were on the lead lap when that caution came out. They were on the tail end of the lead lap. Obviously, a little bit of left side damage there for McCarthy, which it looks like they have been able to buffer out. But fortunate thing for them is they were on the lead lap at the time that it happened. More than likely, if they had been involved in the incident, been a lap down, even if they were the first two cars -1, they probably would not have been in position to receive the free passes. So that worked out for them, at least in that regard, and it helped a lot of other drivers as well. We're going to have to wait and see all of who is where in terms of lead lap cars. Got to sort out the lucky dogs, got to sort out the waiver rounds. Drivers that had already pit, some that hadn't. Like, where is everybody going to be now?
Ulysses Sandoval is being scored as the race leader right now. I don't know if he has pitted yet or not.
Scoring says it does not look like it. Well, actually, no, he did. He was a part of that second group that came down with Negron, Michael Norman, and others.
That's good timing for that caution for them, right as they were coming down pit road.
Right, so they got their service, and then, yeah, that's it. That's how the cookie crumbles.
It looks like at least Terry Bombard is going to get the lucky dog. Remember, he lost a lap after having to serve a pass-through for a black flag during the second cycle green flag pit stops. I believe, we'll wait for the confirmation. We'll see who the next car is that pulls up behind him. I believe it's going to be that Singular Wireless throwback of Bernie Mobbs, who also came to pit road way earlier than everybody else and lost a lap as a result. We'll have to see who indeed that free pass machine is going to be, but we should have a total of 34 drivers on the lead lap when we go back green.
He had to stop for the stop sign. I'm checking that in a replay too. It looks like Breedlove actually might have had that time perfect.
A bit of a weather update over here. There are some tornado warnings not far from where I am right now. It might be going to stay on as long as I can. Luckily, we have a basement in this house that we just moved into, so...
Just taking a race off pit road here because you could see Mobbs had to slow down for the stop sign at the end of pit road there. Let the pack go by. And the 931 took advantage of that, didn't have to slow down, and went right past him. It's not very often when you get to see that. That's cool.
I think McCarthy's going to be that second car. Hopefully that tornado stays away, Kyle, but if it ends up hitting, stay safe.
I'm going to stay on here as long as I can, so...
So
we may have a tornado on the racetrack before this thing is over, too. Who knows?
Yeah, the way these late race restarts go, I mean...
If you're running to the storm cellar, what are you grabbing? Like your computer or like Oreos, or what are you doing?
We got plenty of... We got plenty of drinks and stuff down in the. We have a refrigerator down there in one of the rooms, so.
Yeah, right on.
Grab the dogs and the cats.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's like,
definitely.
you gotta go. What are you taking? Dogs, cats, some good old bars.
Like that game 60 Seconds.
Oh, is there? You gotta tell me about this.
So it's I don't know when it came out. It's gotta be about 10 years old already. Where you basically have 60 seconds. There's going to be a nuclear attack, and so you got to go through the house for 60 seconds and grab what items you want, including apparently you can grab your family members and throw them down into the cellar, and then it's you have to make choices during the course of the days to try and survive until you're rescued.
That's cool.
You have to distribute the food to family members and everything. You have to choose maybe to send somebody out and do some scouting.
And that's called 60 Seconds, you said?
60 Seconds is what it's called, yeah.
My family's already down in the basement, but we're wondering what I'm doing up here.
They have to take care of themselves.
If you think that NR 2003 broadcasters aren't dedicated, Mr. Matthews, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Natural disaster. Dude is still sitting in front of the computer. I love all the different games we get with Steam and, independent developers having an idea and they could just make it.
Yep.
It's great. Like RV There Yet, like Rod Weston and Bob Spring, we all play this thing. It's the most chill game ever. Just a physics-based thing. You're not running from zombies. It's just hanging out, trying to get your RV back to the highway. It's like, it's the weirdest concept, but it's so much fun because it's just, there's no pressure. That's a lot of physics-based stuff. Or like that thing you're talking about. I bought this other game called Firewatch on sale. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, Firewatch is really good.
Is it? Yeah, it looked
You
cool.
want to talk about a chill game? Oh my goodness, Firewatch is definitely a chill game.
Yeah, you're like a park ranger and you just hang out in the woods. And I'm like, oh, I'll grab that. It's on sale on Steam, $7. Why not, right?
Oh, now you got me tempted. I might go get it after this broadcast.
I don't know. I bought it a couple of years ago. I haven't even played it yet, but I just buy stuff when it's on sale because it's so cheap. I can't say no.
I've watched a playthrough of it, and it's really good. Yeah, they had a sale on Epic Games recently. I was able to get Beyond Two Souls and
cool.
Detroit Become Human, two really good games. Paid like $5 for both of them, so it's like, sure, why not?
I got Become Human and The Observer. The Observer actually starring Rutger Hauer. I've haven't played that one yet either, but same thing. Steam will have a sale. I'm like, well, I can spend $30 on 4 games. I mean, I'll put $30 in the gas tank of my car. Sometimes these little independent games are better than the AAA titles.
Well, we might have a sale on sheet metal by the end of this race.
Yeah, Ulysses
Ulysses
changed
got
lines.
a-
There we go.
behind him.
Yeah,
That might not bring out a yellow.
That might.
racing
I
back.
was just about to say, as we were getting the restart, is that going to be our one and only caution? Or are we going to get another one? And there's our answer.
Oh,
I'm
we got some
racing back,
flippers
so.
going into turn 3 there. Chain reaction of Terry Bombard, Dennis McCarthy, second straight incident he's been in. Billy Elliser as well. Robert Spring, Randy Wall, they were in the initial wreck.
Ulysses
is
holds
gonna win
on to
that.
it. Yeah.
Almost
Go back and
4
take a look
wide
at it.
coming across the line there around the 10th position. We should get back green. I don't know how many laps we're going to have. The 26 of Billy Elliser, that Flintstones Dodge, all crunched up as he was barrel rolling on the entrance to turn 3. I think the initial contact's going to be around the 74 of Robert Spring.
Yeah, it looks like him and Cyber got connected here.
Yep. Little misjudgment there by Cy Jones. Was trying to tuck in line behind Robert Spring. Wasn't trying to wreck him, and the two of them bumper grab together. He goes down, gets the inside wall, and then there's a follow-up wreck of drivers trying to sort out around where the 74 was saving it. Ryan Rawson comes up into Dennis McCarthy. He then gets into Bernie Mobbs. Len Harris, Billy Elliser get collected, and 21 of Randy Watt took a big hit too. Looks like he just got hard on the brakes and noses it into the inside wall.
a lot of damage to the front end of that car. I know it doesn't really show that on the replay, but
Yeah, Waugh just had to make a move, and the thing got away from him. You said there was some flippers. I didn't see anybody rolling.
Going into turn 3, not too long after the incident, Billy Ellis or Dennis McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, he hammered. Yeah, Billy hammered that inside concrete barrier just as it ended.
So I was right. Apparently, the initial couple of incidents did not bring out the yellow. It wasn't until Brian Rawson got turned around in front of the field and Dennis McCarthy that the caution actually came out. A lot of those other incidents prior to were deemed off the racing surface.
Well, the night just went from bad to worse there for Dennis McCarthy after being involved in that first caution. Takes a wild ride here. And hate to see that Jeff Gordon throwback get torn up like that.
So this, I believe, is going to put Bernie Mobbs, Glenn Harris back on the lead lap. They were the first two drivers one lap down.
Rodney Solon's on pit road.
Yeah, why is the 38 on pit lane? Oh, don't tell me.
On board with the 38.
Oh, did he blow another engine?
It's pretty quiet in there.
He and we were messaging back and forth about this very thing beginning of the week. He then had an engine blow up on him on Monday night in the Bare Bones Racing Series, and don't tell me it's happened to him again here on Thursday.
Boy, that's all the looks of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Did he get down there?
See that puff of smoke right there?
Gosh.
I'm trying to rewind it here and see where it happened. Yeah, he got towed.
It's a tough break there for Rodney. He's been running up in the top 5 this whole night.
Started on the front row. Trying to keep himself in the top 5
Yeah, you kind of heard it right there.
Yeah, but it is an engine failure. Our scoring showing an engine header for the 38. Man. And I'll tell you, as a racer, that's the ones that frustrate you. If you're in a super speedway race, you get caught up in the big one, flipping, barrel rolling. Okay, that's all part of the territory. But when it's a mechanical failure, like, come on.
Especially like the majority of we've only run like a half dozen laps under yellow in a 66 lap race. Despirito lost a motor. Solins loses a motor. It's like, oh man.
And look where they were running when it happened, too. Despirito was second. Solon was up in the top 5. You have a shot at this thing.
Yeah.
And then the engine just says, no, I give up.
Never
like
looking
I said,
at the top.
It never happens when you're struggling and just want to be put out of your misery. It'll run all day when that's the case. But
yeah, you would get in an accident and wreck your aero damage and everything. You're like, maybe the engine will just suffocate. It'll blow up and I can go home. That thing will run the entire race. You'll just be doing 160 the whole time. Ulysses Sandoval, Josh Metallic, Tim Anderson, Michael Norman, Bob Seminara, Graham McDonald, Chuck McClure, Grant Wesley, Brian Schilling, and Tim Nosker, your top 10.
Gonna be a 3-lap shootout.
And we mentioned about the fact that we're looking to maybe extend the streak to 6 races, 6 different winners. Well, 4 of the previous 5 winners are inside of the top 10. Metallic, the highest running of those on the front row with Sandoval.
Got a good number of drivers who haven't won yet this season up there, though. Sandoval leading, Anderson, Norman, Seminara, McDonald all up there.
I believe 3 of those drivers there. Anderson, Norman, and McDonald have never won on Thursday night, so we could be looking maybe at a driver getting their first career win in the Talladega Challenge Series. Next flag's going to end the race here. If we get a caution between now and the waving of the white flag, race will end under caution. If they get to the white flag, we'll race back to the checkers. Sandoval, who comes into this race 9 points above 12th in the standings. 10th in points, looking for his first win on the season. Looking to get Toyota their first win of season 67. Ready to go.
And now a word from our sponsor. Just kidding. I would never do that. We don't do commercials.
We're not Fox.
So it's like Anderson behind Sandoval did not get a very good restart, and you see Josh Metelick, he has Michael Norman on his back bumper, but here comes Anderson back to the back bumper of Sandoval. They're going to be side by side.
Well, that bottom lane pushing hard. Holy moly.
Push is about to become shove.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Denny Carroll making a third line back around the 10th position. He's got some help from Keith Bynum, not much else. Still pretty even. The first two rows here off of turn 4, but that middle line.
Oh, man.
Comes Wesley.
That middle line can turn into the vortex. Oh,
Michael gets in front of him.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, well, Fox would have a commercial right now, but they would put it in a picture-in-picture and cut the audio. So at least you could still watch, sort of.
Less than 2 laps to go here. That inside line's preferred right now.
It's crazy how quick that changed.
Got themselves clear.
Yeah, when they created that third line, saw Michael Norman and Josh Metelick get up there in front of Grant Wesley, but that kind of killed their momentum right there. That really opened up the door for everybody on the bottom. Well, Ulysses starting to get a little bit of daylight in between him and the 33. You don't want to do that.
Long ways to the start-finish line here at Talladega. Normally, if we were at Daytona, it'd be right about here, but an extra few hundred feet. Can they get there to the white? Look at McClure.
Looking.
Got help from Schilling.
Anderson moves up. That's going to leave the bottom open there for Sam, but he's got no help.
They're trading paint.
Oh, boy. Jeffrey's coming down there on the bottom there, the General Lee. Ulysses has to mirror drive big time right here.
Oh,
that's what he's doing. He's blocking. There goes McClure.
And Anderson's going to get to the inside of Sandoval. Still green.
Seminara for second. He's going to might have a run here.
Bouncing off each other 3 wide.
No, Michael.
Michael around. We got cars flipping.
Seminara to the outside.
Rolling. Coming back to the stripe. Can Seminara get this? Is going to be really close between him and Anderson.
Anderson got him.
Tim Anderson.
I think Tim got it.
Man.
He did. Wow. What's the gap on that?
That's probably our closest finish of the season, too. We'll see what scoring says the interval was.
0.02, and then to third place, 0.06, and then Sandoval, 0.08 to fourth.
18 thousandths.
Yikes. Awesome finish. We'll go back and look at that in a replay.
Now, the one thing that I am going to have a bit of a concern about here was on that final lap, when Anderson made the move on Sandoval, he also bumper grabbed the 17 of Chuck McClure. We mention it all the time. Everybody needs to tune in the following week, because during the course of the week, the admins go back, they look at all the incidents, specifically the closing stages of the race, to see if any post-race EOLs need to be handed out. Now, in my opinion, it's the last lap of the race. And it's not as if he wasn't clear. It was bumper grab, so it wasn't as if Chuck was actually to his left rear quarter panel. I honestly, if it were my call, I would say no call on the 33, but you never know.
So Anderson just pulled off and quit. He just off the track. Didn't do a burnout or nothing. So there's your winner right there, ladies and gents.
Boy, we had a couple of incidents on this last lap here, and yeah, you see the bumper grab right there.
It was 3 wide, back behind them off of 4. Grant Wesley, Josh Metelick, they bounced off each other, and then it's just on from there. No one's lifting at this point.
Had quite a few drivers go upside down right there. Michael Norman, Donnie, I believe the 6 of Brian Rawson.
Oh, goodness, they're still wrecking. Mangialardi and Brian Rawson, they got together, and I think Michael may have barrel rolled after the barrel roll. It's so tough to see through the smoke. Let's see, he's upside
Speaking
down.
of which,
I'm pretty sure I saw him then.
Keep watching from my angle.
There it is. Yeah, I thought so. He gets flinged up into the air there by the 029 again.
I do. I got suplexed.
I'm just saving up all my stuff. I'm going to go back and check all this out here.
I hate it for you, Michael. You had a great run going all night.
Yeah, I was gonna push Josh, and then I told right before the restart, I said, Grant, if you somehow make it 3 wide and get up here with your magic, I said, give Cletus a push.
Oh,
And
he
I
got a
saw-
push, all right.
I saw him coming on the third lane, and honestly, I should have just stayed in the middle lane or at least tried to find a way to the inside. I was also trying to spot for Ulysses at the same time. Once I knew I didn't have a chance at winning, I was gonna try to spot with Ulysses, and he had it going good all the way down the backstretch, but then he got passed, and like I said, I don't know if they'll call that because that was a block that wrecked the 17. So I don't know what they'll say about that. We've all seen how they've called stuff before. So
Well, unofficially, Tim Anderson is the winner, but just barely over Bob Seminara. What a finish that was right there.
anyways, I'm gonna pull a Days of Thunder, and I gotta use the bathroom. So now that I'm done racing, I'm gonna climb out of my car and be right back.
Officially, Jeremy Jeffries going to finish in third place here as well. Again, unofficial, pending review, obviously, and everything. And if anything ends up changing between now and next week, we'll let you know when we bring you race 7 next week. But we are going to do our podium finisher interview based off of the results that we have from tonight's race. So let's see if we can get a hold of the driver that brought it home third place here tonight. And that's Jeremy Jeffries. Hey, Jeremy, it's the guys up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
How you guys doing?
And first off, beautiful paint scheme here tonight.
I second that.
Saw you turn some circuits out in front in that General Lee machine. It kind of took me aback. I don't think I've ever seen you drive a Dodge before. But man, you came into tonight with only one top 5 so far in these first 5 races. Meyer 23rd in the standings. We'll have to wait and see where it sorts out in terms of where you're positioned in points going into next week, but it's got to feel good to at least have this thing up front in the closing stages of the race tonight.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. And thanks, Rodney, for this amazing paint. I kind of came to him and asked him about it and said, you know what, I might as well embrace being the 01 since the server took my number. So let's do it. I need some kind of luck change.
In the conversation for this victory here tonight as well, things got really crazy from pretty much turn 3 all the way back to the start-finish line. In a position maybe for the C's to part, you go back, you kind of replay everything that happened there. Was there any opportunity you see where you might have been able to get up there, maybe make it 3 wide for this win, or were you content to just bring this thing home solidly in the top 5?
After the past few races, I was just happy to bring it in the top 3 there. But I didn't really have anywhere to go. I was actually surprised to make it up that far. I think I restarted 11th with 3 to go. So that was a pretty good outcome.
2 races left to go here in the regular season to be able to secure a spot in the playoffs. We had that week off, everybody coming back, all amped up, ready to go. Are we starting as a driver to sense that everybody knows that the playoffs are looming and it's time to start making preparations to be one of those drivers fighting for the championship?
Oh yeah, everybody knows it's coming, and everybody's going to be trying to get what they can to get in that top 12 or top 20 with the win, including me. I think right now I'm going to be sitting around 15th in points, so that's helpful, but it's still not enough. I gotta perform the next 2 weeks.
Well, it is a step in the right direction for sure, Jeremy. A great run for you here tonight. Able to get to the front, stay at the front all night long, bring it home solidly on the podium here this evening. Congratulations on a job well done. That paint scheme looked fast, performed fast as well. Still 2 races left to go. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Again, thanks Rodney for that awesome scheme. He did a phenomenal job on it, and I know it took him a lot of time to make it look like an O Charger. So that was awesome. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast, the owners, admins, everybody at races here at RTG, our donor, for all our fallen members of RTG and all of our fallen servicemen. I really appreciate that. Everybody out there watching, I hope you saw a good show, and we'll see you next week.
That's Jeremy Jeffries. Looks like this new paint scheme bringing him some luck as he's 3rd place here tonight, looking to take that step towards a spot in the championship hunt. Best of luck starting next week with these final 2 races of the regular season to go.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can now dial up the driver that brings it home runner-up here tonight in this photo finish. Let's get a hold of Bob Seminara. Hey, Bob, it's the guys up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Man, I'll tell you what. A few weeks ago, we talked to you as the runner-up. It was 57 one-thousandths of a second. Here tonight, so much closer. Official scoring shows 18 one-thousandths. We saw you make the move. You had the run. Did you just maybe need a little bit more racetrack? Because, man, it looked like it was going to be really close.
Yeah, I needed a little bit more. He got a good push from Jeremy there. He gave me a little dipsy doodle block there coming off the turn. I lifted a slight bit and then went to the outside. And, I was happy Ulysses stayed with me. But, I got all I could get right there.
A lot of stuff happening in front of you, behind you on that final lap. You bring it home in one piece. You finish out the evening on the podium. Came into tonight 6th in the point standing, so I know you want that win, but the consistency certainly is there. Does this make you breathe a little bit easier with 2 races still left to go in this regular season?
Yeah, I needed a bounce back. I messed up on pit road the last time we raced, so I got 30th. Running 13th there before that first caution. And then I got lucky with being on pit road when the yellow came out. And I was going to take a top 10 at that point, but everything worked out pretty good.
Yeah, we knew that coming into tonight, you guys had the off week. Obviously, the playoffs are looming, so we expected to see some aggressive racing. You mentioned about that caution coming out, though, as we were 2/3 of the way through the race, bunching everybody back up again. How difficult is it to kind of maybe switch on the fly, as you said, just kind of settling in for a top 10 run, and then all of a sudden, you got the rest of the field all around you here, everybody, for the most part, on the lead lap. You got that proposition where you could gain a lot of spots, but you could lose a lot of spots as well, and not a whole lot of laps for recovery time.
Yeah, I was really psyched with the yellow, and then because I had a lot of lap cars around me, I was stuck there in 13th, and got that yellow, and then I got up to 5th, so I had a safe spot on the bottom, which I was hoping, and we got through that, another restart, and I just stayed on the bottom, tried to stay out of trouble. And at that point, I was hoping top 5, and but they got racy, and I had a shot there at the end.
Well, Bob, another great run for you here tonight, bringing it home solidly in 2nd place. You move up a couple spots in the standings as well, and also build a little bit more on the cushion between you and that 12th in the standings cut line. Still 2 more races to go in the regular season to try and lock up that win to secure your spot in the playoffs, but looking pretty good right now with only a handful of races left to go till we put that playoff grid together. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Yeah, thank you, Seth, FRN, and Blaine up there, RTG, Sean, and Jeremy, and Josh, and everybody that helps out, runs this thing. Best place to race, like I always say. Fun racing, Mobs Motors, Bernie's Paints, FTMF, Q, Shadows on Fire, and that's it, boys.
Well, that's Bob Seminara, 2nd place here tonight at Talladega. Solid run, and has himself securely in the top 5 in points with 2 races left to go in the regular season. Congratulations on the great run tonight, Bob. Maybe next week we talk to you that 1 position better in victory lane.
Yeah, I hope so. Have a good week.
2nd runner-up finish of the season for driver 712. 18 one-thousandths of a second was the difference. This guy had to qualify his way in tonight on time. He was 36th in points coming into tonight's race. Let's dial up tonight's race winner, Tim Anderson. Hey, Tim, it's the guys up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Seth, how's it going, man?
Tell you what an eventful last lap, and you were right there in the thick of it, able to make that move into turn 3, able to hold off Seminara through the tri-oval to pick up your first win on Thursday nights. Has the belief settled in yet that you've got the victory here tonight at Talladega?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe I've won a race over here this quick. Man, I'm telling you, I was up on the wheel all night tonight, man. Not showing any mercy or anything. Just trying to win one, man.
Mentioned about the fact that you came into tonight having to race your way in on speed. You weren't in the top 30 in the point standings. Scoring now shows you not only having the victory, but you're now in the top 30 in points, currently in the 29th position. But There's still 2 races left to go here in the regular season. If I'm doing the math correctly, you're only sitting about 28 points outside of the top 20 in the standing. To get in above that cut line at the end of the regular season, you're running for a championship. With having this first step forward, what's the confidence level with 2 races still to work with?
I'm just going to go into it and try to finish the best I can, and hopefully I can make it into the championship chase or however they do it over here.
Obviously, we had a lot of drivers during the course of this race have execution on pit road. Some had some stumbles. Obviously, the cautions helped bunch everybody back up. As we ended up having those late race restarts, how difficult was it to be able to formulate some kind of a plan and then be able to execute on it? Obviously, you were able to make the right moves in the closing stage, but how difficult was it to get to that point?
It wasn't too hard. I was actually going to stay behind Ulysses. I wasn't going to try to pass him in loose positions, but I think it was a 710 car maybe behind me, or 712. They were going to shoot out, so I just took the chance with that car and just seeing where I went with it.
Well, a big win for you here tonight, able to win in what so far the season's been the closest finish at 18 one-thousandths of a second. We've seen a lot of drivers during the course of the years here be able to get their first victories of the Talladega Challenge Series. You add your name to that list here tonight. Congratulations. We'll let you get back to your celebrating in a moment, but first, Tim, we'll give you the opportunity for some victory lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to RTG over here, Jeremy and Josh and all them guys, and Tim, for hosting the races over here. And shout out to my teammates, Greg and Brian Level out there. And you guys up here in the booth, man, I appreciate what you guys do too.
Well, that's Tim Anderson. He gets to celebrate here tonight his first victory on Thursday nights here at Rolling Thunder Game in the Talladega Challenge Series. Congratulations. Best of luck here these next couple of weeks as you look to build off this win, maybe be able to get in the top 20 and be battling for a championship here in season 67.
All right, Seth. I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good night.
That's Tim Anderson, your winner here this evening. Again, as mentioned, was 36th in points coming into tonight. He had to race his way into the field on speed. Now finds himself in the top 30 in points. And who knows, the driver that we just talked to, we might be talking to him as a playoff contender in about 3 weeks' time.
Very well could. You mentioned that, that win is the first step. And that win right there is the first step for him. So see what happens in the next couple of weeks. It should be fun to watch.
It's also going to be interesting to see. I mean, we mentioned about the fact that full fields every single week. That big wreck off of turn 3, it shuffled up the finishing results. It's got some drivers on the plus side in terms of where they were coming into tonight points-wise, and some on the minus side. Jeremy Jeffries, who we just talked to, he's now working his way up 16th in points. And Manera got a couple of spots back that he lost last week after the pit road problem. 4th in the standings, up 2. But then on the other side, the engine failure for Rodney Sullins drops him to 9th in points. Chuck McClure, who was involved in that wreck there in turn 3 on the final lap, 11th now in points. It's going to be a running thing, I think, in these final 2 races of the season, talking about these big names that potentially, depending on circumstances in the upcoming 132 laps turned, might not be battling for a championship. It's just so close around that cut line.
I'm telling you, that is, I can only imagine the pressure a lot of these guys are feeling right about now. And looking at the finishing results, there are a couple of names stand out to me, finishing 9th and 10th. Cody Lamas in 9th, Richard Martin in 10th. They were a lap down.
Yeah.
For a good part of that race. They're able to get back on the lead lap late in the going with those caution flags, made it through all the madness on that last lap, and to come out of here with the top 10 finish for both of them. So that's very impressive right there.
Well, and Martin there too, getting the 28th, starting in 28th, right, and finishing 10th. I love looking at that start position. Even Ulysses Sandoval starts in 31st, ends up getting 4th.
I also feel like I may have jinxed him talking about it tonight. The consistent streak of top 10s for Grant Wesley is going to end at 5. He ended up finishing in 14th place in the middle of that big wreck there off of turn 4, but he still will keep the points lead going into next week. 20 points over Brian Schilling, 29 back to Josh Metallic. So still firmly in control of the overall points lead and trying to win that regular season championship. It'll also be interesting to see. I don't exactly at the moment have the list up in front of me, but based off of everything that happened there in the final lap, it'll be interesting to see who moves on in the bracket challenge, because I think quite a number of drivers had their position pretty handily of being able to advance, and that last lap wreck might have changed it up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see the fallout from that. But big win here tonight for Tim Anderson. He will look now to make his way into the top 20 in points off of his victory in the next couple of weeks to be able to clinch a wild card spot in the playoffs. A lot of drivers still need to get themselves locked in or need to at least build themselves a bit of a cushion back to that cut line. It'll be really interesting to follow that over these next couple of weeks. Only 2 races left to go, as you said, Kyle. A lot of pressure for drivers here depending on their situations and not a lot of time to be able to act. It will be really interesting to follow these final 2 races of the regular season and see who our playoff drivers will be. But we thank you all for joining us here tonight. Again, congratulations to Tim Anderson, his first victory here in the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. We'll see you guys next Thursday night as we continue on Season 67 of the Talladega Challenge Series. For Kyle Matthews, Blaine Donald, I'm Seth Cole. We thank you for joining us here on this Thursday night, the simulcast of the Talladega Challenge Series on Tarnation TV and the Flatout Racing Network.